All right. So without further delay, maybe we can start now. Okay. So today, sharing will be on the integrated development and its rarity, and then why investors are willing to pay for integrated development in downtown. Okay, because there are different integrated development in different parts of Singapore. So why in downtown specifically? Okay, and we will also be uncovering URA master plan, the concept planning behind the downtown transformation, which is mainly in District 7, because the previous sharing we're done like D1 and D2 in the bits and of the sharing. So Leon will cover that later on. We'll also share with you why integrated developments like Goko Midtown and Marina One, the USP, so that you can hook your buyers in your conversation with them. And of course, last but not least, how to spot the next best buy before anybody beats you to it. It can be your colleague also. All right. Okay. So we will go into the proper first. I would like to touch a bit on mixed-use development and integrated development, as in what are the key differences. So maybe we take a look at the mixed-use development first. If you have seen 1KM, 1KM is a very good example of a mixed-use development, okay? Because 1KM has got the residential component sitting on top, and usually the residential component takes up about 60% of the GFA. And you remember below, when you go over to that mall, you will see all the commercial shops, the retail shops, the F&B, the food and beverage shops. Okay, this commercial podium in the mixed use can be owned by a single owner, or it can be sold to a strata, on the strata status to the individuals as well. Meaning you, me, or even our so-called investors, they can buy off the shops if it's on a strata status to them, right? So this is the key difference here. But if you make reference back to 1KM, you will notice that it's not directly linked to a MRT underground or to the site. So that is where we will go into the next so-called improved version, some call integrated development as an improved version of the mixed-use development. But I would say integrated development is really one in a million, especially when we talk about fully integrated ones. Okay, so integrated developments, if you have seen the likes of the ones in Singapore, island-wide, be it Campus Heights or Marina One, Warwick, you will realize that they have a direct connection to the MRT or a direct access to a bus interchange, right? Bedok has a direct access to the so-called bus interchange. And it's not only this direct access that gives them the right to become an integrated development, but more on the retail podium. Retail podium, that means the shops, are usually managed by the developers themselves. So with time evolving, we also so-called upgrade our integrated developments concept in Singapore. We add on like the grade A offices, but those with the grade A office component, you will not find it island-wide. It is mainly concentrated in the CBD or downtown core or the central part of Singapore, nearer to our financial hub. So when the grade A offices podium are added in, there's also the urban park that came along with it. Remember our PM rally, there has always been the notion of live, work, play, right? So the live, work, and play aside your office, you're staying there, there's also the urban park. Urban park to help you ease off, all the stress, gives you the space to mingle with the community. So these are what we call the integrated or improved version of the mixed use development. It's a whole lot better, in my opinion. So that's the reason why we're touching on this now, because our topic today also covers Midtown Bay and Marina One in that aspect. Okay, so I'd like to share some interesting facts about the mixed use and integrated development solely in Singapore. I don't know how many of you have Googled them up to see which one is actually the first one. So the very first, just to share some history back, Campus Heights in Sengkang was actually built in 2002, and probably the very first one, 第一个, okay? Then we have a total of 16 integrated developments, but not all are connected to a MRT or bus interchange. And typically, the ID, or so-called the integrated development projects, on average, residential units, we are looking at 400 to 600, but of course, the higher tier, what we term as a luxury market segment, they hover on smaller number of units over there. Example, like Orchard Residences, only 175. Of course, Warwick is one very good example, 181. And Marina One would be the largest in terms of the residential units with a total of 1042. Okay, and then of course the biggest release of IDs into the market you would see happening or happen in 2017, 2018 mainly, because that was a time that you see South Beach, Dual, Warwick, Marina One, all getting their TOP at the same time, okay? And the biggest mall that is attached to an integrated development would be North Point, that is up in the Yishun cluster, because it has 1.33 million square feet in terms of the space, okay? Put it into a chart for you guys so that it's easier to visualize. Suddenly it's like, wow, so many integrated developments in Singapore. But like what I was sharing earlier, you realize that Campus Heights, they may have the MRT, but they do not have the office component, right? So when we talk about like Watertown, similarly, they do have the mall, the direct access, but they don't have the office component attached to it. Likewise for Woodleigh, Point. So in my opinion, I wouldn't really classify them as fully integrated or minimum like a 5-in-1. The 5-in-1 integration, you will see them mainly concentrated in the central region here, right? With the likes of like Warwick, Marina One, South Beach, and then Midtown. Dover is also the earlier one that was built here. Then, of course, the only one that I would say minimally also a 5-in-1 would be Park Place. Park Place TOP this year, if I'm not wrong, 2020. Yeah. We also have two other developments. We'll call them maybe more on a mixed use. Orchard Residences in the core central region, Orchard, then of course the M, which is also sitting in the same location of Dover, Midtown, and South Beach is nearby, quite near in terms of the land plot. Yeah, so I will bring you into the benefits of the integrated development. Okay, so what is so good about the integrated developments? Why would people bother to pay? I mean, is it like really convenient, or is it like it is really so well connected that I don't have any other options? In my opinion, there are more benefits or advantages being an integrated development as compared to a normal condo, if you're talking about the downtown aspect, okay? Because connectivity towards transportations, MRTs, bus terminus, they're mainly sheltered walkway, covered. So on a rainy day, you don't even need to bring a brolly. You just try to visualize Marina One. How do you get to the MRT? Right now, of course, we walk on surface, but in time to come, it's all through the underground network pedestrian. Then let's talk about South Beach. South Beach, when you come down from the residence, you can actually walk through the basement to the City Hall side via the underground link as well. And Midtown Bay, in time to come, is also featured with this sheltered walkway or underground network pedestrian. So these are actually value add to a homeowner. Then we talk about the retail arm of the integrated developments also. Usually for this particular aspect, it will be managed by the developer. When the developer is in control, like one singular developer or a landlord, when they're in control, it also helps you manage your tenant mix, like your anchor tenants, supermarkets, food clinics. It's not like any shops, any profile can come into that development per se. So in terms of that, then it will also draw crowd. When it draw crowds, means your tenants make money, also business will be better for them. And when that happens, the confidence level in the whole place will also go up, right? Yeah. Then the other one would be greater savings. Greater savings. Then you must worry why you put no delivery charge. Okay. Now COVID, right? Everybody circuit breaker, stay home. So everybody call Grab, Food Panda and all. So when you call and order, additional delivery charge. So things like these, the small things do add up. So if you are staying in integrated development, what you do is, oh, I can just change my clothes, or maybe I just wear my shorts also okay. I just come down, go to the shops, get my food, and then I head back home. So you also make some savings here. Then the other point is no car to pay for, car installment, petrol cost, because connectivity is the key word here, which links you to all parts of Singapore. It also saves you time getting into the MRT, into public transport. You can always grab a taxi. So, you know, things like these, they do add up into a total value package, having stayed in integrated development. And then the next point would be safer investment. When we talk about safer investment, is also the drawing in of investors. What I meant by investors would be the savvy ones. When they talk about foreigners parking the money in Singapore, is also looking into a central region mainly as compared to the outside, you know, the outskirts. So as a homeowner tenant pool, translator is also better transaction volume. Later, I'll show you some statistics in terms of the rentability, in terms of the entry. So maybe from that you can make a judgment for yourself whether is it more advantage or disadvantage. Then the next point, disadvantages. Disadvantages, in my opinion, would also be the advantages. Why I say so? You see, with everything in the same building, it also means convenience. But with convenience, maybe it also means I have to sacrifice my privacy, right? So some owners may not enjoy the fact that hey, I'm so close to the office podium, I'm so close to the shops. It doesn't give me a at-home feel, you know. So you need to know how to weigh this out for the investors, because for the tenants that are coming in, I would say they are very open to this, because most of them would have come in from very big cities like US, you know how big America is, Japan, Korea. I mean, these are big cities that already have all these integrated developments in place. I'm sure Singapore is not the first one to so-called build this integrated development, because in major cities, in order to so-called curb urban problem, which is traffic congestion, maybe this would be the way to go. Okay. Then, of course, the key pointers that in summary is good connectivity in a good location, in a urban jungle. Okay, so then it also brings us into why buyers are willing to shell out extra for integrated development. I'm sure you heard me earlier with regards to the pluses, as in the advantages. So when the advantages outweigh your disadvantages, this I would say why buyers are willing to shell out or pay a bit more extra for integrated development, because integrated developments are also constantly evolving, and being the location that they are in the downtown, right? I would say government also put in a lot of emphasis in revamping the whole area. So when the government has a vested interest in that location, naturally your confidence level will be higher that, hey, I'm looking forward to some form of transformation. So with that, I am quite certain that is one key reason why they are willing to pay for such. Okay, now I would like to actually share with you a video, okay, on Midtown Bay. So let's see. Wow. So I don't know if you guys are excited about the video. Every time I see this video or hear the music, right, I can't help but want to dance to it. From the video, you'll probably see the different aspects of Midtown Bay that has been portrayed through the lifestyle, through the residents, through the office. What is coming up in this downtown Bugis part of Singapore? So now I will touch a bit more on the GoCo Midtown. GoCo Midtown, if you can follow my arrow here, is this development. Okay, GoCo Midtown is sitting on a parcel of land, 226,000 square feet of land plot setting. Of course, this is what we call a fully integrated development, minimally a 5-in-1. Why we say so? Because they do have the office podium, the residence, the retail with a conservation so-called house, shop house in front, which is the former police station. And the developer is also putting in money as a whole development change by digging underground network pedestrians leading through and through to Bugis MRT down to Bugis Junction itself. Yeah, so as a location map, I would just like to show you where it's situated. A lot of you would probably be very well versed with where Bugis. Okay, so if you follow my arrow on just beside this blue note here, you see Bugis Junction, right? So Bugis Junction. What sits in front of Bugis Junction are the row of shophouses here, conservation shophouses, right? And further down here too. So the view from this development at GoCo Midtown would almost be unblocked because it's low rise over there in that direction, right? Then of course you also have, you see this other plot that we mark in blue. Well, this is the other land plot that GoCo Land has bidded for this location to fully transform the location. Why I say fully transform, or rather to complete their vision here, to transform the Ophir Rochelle corridor works. Because here, no more land supply after, and the last one would be the Tangkwilan land plot here. You will realize that the demand, later with the statistics I'm going to show you, the demand for offices, the demand for the rental units here is actually high because there's no much supply. You only have dual right now as a high-rise development or condo here with the offices. Midtown Bay only has 219 exclusive luxury homes. So it's also not on the big scale, but of course with the Midtown Modern from the Tangkwilan land side, this one will add on maybe about another 500 plus homes. We don't know the exact yet because it's slated to be released much later. Yeah, so on and on, when you compare the location, hey, actually I don't have a lot of residential units here. Yeah, okay, so in a location like this, why they GoCo Midtown or did they enter into this location is also they want to form, or they're actually the last puzzle to this whole cluster. Because behind us here is actually the Suntec Millennium Walk Marina Center. So they actually the last puzzle to link the whole cluster together, forming the 3 micro markets, which is mainly Bugis, Marina Center, and City Hall. This land plot itself falls under a City Hall planning zone, even though we are right next to a Bugis. Yep. So with that, Tangkwilan was actually bidded, like what I explained earlier, to complete the vision here. Singapore government has also put in effort to rejuvenate this place. That's why they want a similar concept over here, taking the reference point from Warwick residents, because Warwick itself has done very well in Tanjong Pagar, because the previous one you probably only see in the CBD downtown cluster, but they also need to decentralize so that the business also get decentralized outwards, and the activities can be generated from that location as well. Yeah. Okay, so to show you also where GoCo Midtown is, we're actually a commercial site sitting right here on Beach Road. Midtown model, which is also the Tan Kwi Lan side, is opposite, and you will be seeing actually a pink. Why? Because it's a mixed development with a residential on top with a shops component below. Okay, yeah. So let me bring you more in depth into the Midtown Bay, GoCo Midtown, in terms of the concept itself. So we have everything built in and out of home. Office tower, as mentioned earlier, we are sitting on 770,000 square feet of premium grade A offices, all right? So there is a pool of good tenants around. In the likes of Dual, when Dual came out, Dual Tower, they actually have Sumitomo, MasterCard, at least the offices, because in this location, we don't have a lot of grade A premium type. So this is going to be a very exciting plot here. Then, of course, landscape and public spaces for the different users, because landscape and public spaces is also to promote or encourage the work, live and play concept here. So they give you actually 10 different plazas and garden to move around. You won't be bored. I mean, you can slowly explore. Then of course, Midtown Hub. Okay, this is actually the very unique feature of Midtown Bay. For those who have not heard about this, after this sharing session, if you want a bit more details, do speak to my taggers about this as well. So, GoCo Midtown Hub is running off 80,000 square feet of space. Is the new, I would say, the new social network hub for the residents and for the tenants here. Why I say that? I don't know if you realize, even among your own clients or even among your own tenants, I don't find it surprising to actually see them signing up club membership outside with so-called social network clubs. Okay, in the likes of Straits Clan is one very good example, because when the population gets a bit more affluent, what they are seeking or what they are looking at is not just a traditional swimming pool, clubhouse that you can do your basic functions, right? They're looking at something else. They're looking at having more interaction within a community, having a co-work space, being able to rub shoulders with like-minded business owners who could potentially be your neighbor here to spur off another business plan from there. So I'll say this GoCo Midtown Hub comes across as a very good space for owners and tenants alike. They also have a 200 pax function space over here that you can bring the party in instead of going out. And you can also just bring your laptop down. If you're staying there, you're feeling a bit bored, I can't work from home, bring your laptop down to the co-work space and then try to mingle around or with the people, because you wouldn't be surprised who will be meeting today, maybe another Mr. or Junior Mr. Dyson, right? Yeah, okay. So this is the key, and the important part is this comes with a free membership for a certain number of years at Midtown Hub. So they actually get to enjoy the facilities, not within the condo itself, but also at the hub. Okay. Then of course, when we talk about F&B retail space, they have crafted out another 33,000 square feet of dynamic lifestyle offering for shopping, dining, and entertainment. If you have been to Tanjong Pagar, GoCo Tower over there, it is a replicated version here, but of course, a bit more refined, and the shops, the retail shops, the vibrancies of what they're going to bring in here, I would say it would be a whole lot more exciting, given that the crowd or the profile that we're targeting is also gearing towards that direction, right? Yeah. Then of course, last but not least, we also have to cover Midtown Bay, which I mentioned earlier would be the exclusive 219 units of luxury homes. Remember, we have many different types of integrated development here in Singapore, but what really stands out is also the track record of the developer, aside the finishing and how they manage the whole estate, also called grounds. So GoCo Tower would be a very good example of how you can showcase Midtown Bay if your buyers are looking at how or what to expect from it. Because you can see a lot of the trade mix being presented here. Okay. Then I would like to also go on to the connectivity, making us the epicenter of Roadshow Bugis transformation. I'll bring your attention to the blue lines. If you see the blue lines here, okay, Roadshow, Bugis. Okay, these blue lines are actually the existing underground pedestrian network. Even down here, the blue ones is already in place, bring you from one point to the other. What is interesting to know is GoGo Midtown, in fact, as a developer, GoGo Land, they are going to build new ones or dig new ones, okay? You see the yellow line here? The yellow lines are actually the new underground pedestrian network, which will link us from GoGo Midtown through to Bugis or GoGo Midtown underground to Dua. Okay, then aside that, you will also see these purple linkages. These are actually the overhead pedestrian linkway. Right now is through Shore in future, and then of course Shore will be through to South Beach. From South Beach, we also have a linkway to Suntec. These are the existing one. What they are going to do on top of is to build this green line that you see here. This would be the new overhead pedestrian linkages down to Suntec itself. So why did I say it's the last jigsaw puzzle? Mainly because of the location that they are placed in, as well as the connection linkages that they are going to build and link to the micro markets. So from top down right now, when you take a look at this, you see that actually it's true. The placement of GoGo Midtown here joins the rest. So it's really like a jigsaw puzzle. You put in the last piece and they will be here to be the game changer. All right. So on top of that, I mean, it's not just the underground network linkages, overhead linkages, but we're talking about the expressways as well. So upcoming, we have the North-South highway that will be coming through here. And of course, it's also easy to get to KPE and ECP via the expressway linkages. And the other even better one, we have 4 MRT lines. Okay, so these 4 MRT lines will bring us through the island through 108. Yeah. 108 stations through point to other parts of Singapore. So you see how well connected it is. And this is what will be happening down here. See, we are under the City Hall, Marina Center, and of course Bugis as a micro markets linkages, and we're under the planning of the City Hall district. This is just a master plan to show you on a bigger scope of things. You see the green line? The green line depicts the downtown core planning, but the red line where this GoGo Midtown is seated on, we fall under the City Hall. This is also the linkway that I've shown you earlier, but this is of URA map. If you think the connectivity towards the business aspect is very good, there's also the other one that is not widely covered. I was just reading up the history and stuff. Then I realized, hey, what is this BBB? Okay, BBB means Besah Bugis Precinct. So what is this BBB about? Okay, BBB is actually by URA, but managed by National Heritage Board, NHB. This is like a 20 years plan that they have started way before. What they want to do is they want to bring and breathe life back into BBB as a cluster. And GoGo Midtown is actually seated on the corridor of this BBB. BBB has a lot to do with your arts, history, you talk about design. So they focus mainly on that aspect. So being in the location where we are, if we want to talk about business, we are able to add GoGo Midtown. If we want to do like a bit more leisure style, the artsy style, you're able to as well, because you just need to walk from here down Middle Road or even down the City Hall side to get to the Esplanade, or even through the different museums that you see. We have the National Museum. So everything is walkable, and they want to also bring back the vibrancy of the olden days into here. So I'll say in this location is very unique and it's very difficult to replicate, because you do have the olden part of Singapore and the newer part of the growth on the integrated development down this way. So it's really a two-in-one, the old phase and the new phase in this location, right? Yeah. So even newspaper articles are highly promote these beachfront commercial markets and as opening into the Ophir Rochor corridor transformation. You see, they mentioned, I know we're going to come Marina one later, but in the article, they talk about move over Marina Bay. We have a new kid on the block. So you always have maybe the second kid. After the second kid, you have the third kid, right? So this Ophir Rochor corridor or the beach road will be the last kid in this segment in downtown. So we're ready to rock and roll this area, okay? And there's also a demand for the commercial listing, investment, even the numbers presented here, the grade A office supply. Clearly, they know there is not enough vacancy and the developers are willing to put in money here to build and bring more of such here. See, office rents also in Dover itself, when they TOP in the year of like 2017, they also got a lot of interest. When you go into Bugis location, what you see over there, usually your landmark would be what? Dover Towers, right? But in future, when you go over there, I will tell you, GoGo Midtown will probably be the one that you'll talk about. Where do we meet? Where do we meet? Okay, let's meet at GoGo Midtown. Where do we meet? Midtown Hub. So they want it to be the landmark of that location itself, with whatever that they're going to put in for investment here. Yeah. Then why I say the demand for office space also is high. I was just looking up randomly and I saw, hey, actually Suntec surprisingly has quite a number of deals from the 2019 last quarter till even up to now. You see the transacted volume for the offices. So it clearly shows there is a demand for office space or commercial use down this location. I mean, it's easily more than what? I only pull up from the last quarter. So there are also some other transactions before. Yeah, if you look it up, you will see this. Then another article also stated Bugis will overtake Orchard as Singapore new prime residential district. This is of the Property Guru predicts. And clearly in the article, if you read it in depth, it says move over Orchard because here is cited. You remember the part about the BBB as well as the business component. So they're going to merge everything and bring back the vibrancy into this location, right? So when that is presented in future, I would be surprised if District 7 will be seen as upcoming to overthrow the District 9 in terms of that cluster. But every district in Singapore has got a special place, I would say, for every individual. So it really depends on what you're looking at as well. Yeah. So the area clearly depicted history-rich, predominantly commercial precinct into a hip and vibrant civic district. Yeah, so other promising district, of course, we won't go into depth for that, but this one is clearly earmarked already because it has a historical background to it. That's why they're going to transform this into the district that they want to. Okay, so right now I'll just bring you through the virtual